Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. My favorite makeup today is this. This is actually from my Sephora Play box this month. It's my Makeup Forever Artist Rouge Cream Lipstick in the color C207. It's this really cool, like pinky purple. I'm really digging it today. It just really, it's much brighter on than I thought it was going to be, and I love it. So for today's video, I'm going to be going through some makeup products that YouTube made me buy. YouTube marketing. It's both a blessing and a curse. You know, a lot of people get PR products and they will do honest reviews, and it's really awesome because you'll get an idea of what actually they like and what they're interested in, and they'll give you the pros and cons of the products. Then there's some people who get PR products, and because they like getting PR products, they're gonna just tell you everything from that line is amazing. And that's, you know, a thing that people do, and I get it. You know, you gotta keep your hustle going, and you know, you can kind of tell the difference between this is a really great product and isn't this a really great product? I might find them funny or amusing to watch otherwise, but that doesn't mean I take their product recommendations seriously. So when it comes to YouTube channels and the kind of videos that inspire me to purchase things, there's one of two things. It's either a video that's specifically about that product, someone has gotten it in PR, someone went to the store and picked it up themselves, and they're doing a product review of it. Sometimes it's a first impression, and sometimes they've worn it for a few days and they have that info as well. That's one way I decide whether I want to get something. And another way is I'll take a look at the listing of what products somebody's using in a video. So if I see a video and I see in the thumbnail that somebody's look is really cool, I'm like, what's that eyeshadow? What highlighter are they wearing? What is that lipstick? Why does their skin look so good? I'll take a look at those products to see if enough people I like whose faces are different enough that I can tell that, you know, across a spectrum of people with different types of skin, different types of skin colors, different skin texture, all that sort of thing. If they're all liking the same product, then I kind of want to look at it too, because I might like it as well. So some honorable mentions before we get into the actual products that I own. There are 3 products that I thought about buying, but I have yet to get, and I have perfectly good reasons why. First would be the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I'd heard everybody loved that stuff. It looks really nice in videos. I can see everybody's skin looks fantastic. My biggest issue with that is the Sephora person I spoke to could not color match me appropriately, and that is a very pricey foundation. So the fact that she was not sure which one she should sell me, she maybe suggested, oh, maybe you should get both. No, I'm not going to get both. So I had decided I would hold off on that and maybe try another time with a different Sephora representative. So I have not purchased that foundation because couldn't figure out which one to get. Second of all, we have the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. That's the thing that everybody uses on YouTube as well. Now I'm pretty happy with the concealers that I'm using, so I didn't need a new concealer, but the biggest downside to the Tarte Shape Tape was that I couldn't buy it at Sephora. They do have it at Ulta, which until recently, there wasn't one for me to go to. If it were available at Sephora, I would have purchased it by now. Because it's not, that's the reason I never bought it yet. I assume eventually one day I will pick it up, but at this point, that would be why. And last would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Now, I know this is like everybody's holy grail palette. It's often recommended if you're gonna buy something at the VIB sale and you don't already own this, you should buy this palette. My biggest issue is that I have a very difficult time applying red and burgundy eyeshadows without looking like I've been crying all night or that someone punched me in the eye. It just looks like I bruised myself as opposed to have a cool makeup look. So because of that, I've yet to pick it up. I am very tempted to pick it up, but I've held off because I'm not sure that that color combo is going to work for me. So I do feel I may eventually get brave enough to try that one out, but I'm just not ready yet. Just not ready yet. Anyway, on to the rest of the products. This is the Belif. This is the True Cream Aqua Bomb. I saw that people were using this as part of their makeup routine or their skincare routine, although I didn't see necessarily a lot of videos specifically about buying this particular moisturizer. But people had it in their empties, or they had it in their like, oh, well, you know, I picked this up and I really like it and I'm using it this week. So I thought, all right, I'll give it a try, because my old moisturizer, they changed the formula for it and I just don't like it quite as much anymore. It's not a bad moisturizer, it just doesn't agree with my skin anymore the way the new formula goes. So I was looking for a new moisturizer anyway, and so I picked this guy up, and frankly I really like it a lot. My skin feels really nice when I'm wearing it. My makeup wears a lot better, and You know, any of the issues that I was experiencing with the new formulation of my old moisturizer, all of that's gone away. Like, I don't feel like this is too heavy. I don't feel like it sort of only moisturizes portions of my skin. I feel like my whole face is really refreshed and hydrated. So I'm really excited. Thanks, YouTube. Also in skincare, this is something I've seen a ton of reviews about on YouTube, and then a lot of people talk about it also, and it's these. This is from Sunday Riley. This is the Luna Sleeping Night Oil, and this is the Good Genes from Sunday Riley. So I actually bought a set of these in the Sephora VIB sale, and I have started using them, and I haven't had enough time to decide how I feel about them yet, but I completely admit that if people hadn't talked this up so much, I would have probably never picked it up just because it was so expensive. I also bought a set for my mother, and she's very hard to please, so the fact that she really enjoyed it, plus all these people on YouTube said it was really good, I figured, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'll try it out. If I don't like it, you know, it was a one-time investment and I'll find a different skincare regime. But I fully admit I bought these because of YouTube. In terms of a drugstore product that I picked up because of YouTube, it would be these guys. These are the Milani Baked Blushes. I have the colors Bella Bellini and Dolce Pink. I had a few other colors as well, but I actually decluttered them mostly because one of them was too similar to some other shades I had and the other one was really too dark for my skin. These blushes are super pigmented. They're really nice. There's a ton of product. I'm not even close. And I use this one a lot. This is Dolce Pink. I use this blush all the time. I'm not even close to hitting pan on this. You don't need a lot in order to get a really beautiful pink blush of color, and I just think these are really wonderful. Generally, they also go on sale a lot, so like if you're at CVS, often it'll be like buy one, get 50% off the second one when I'm taking a look at the cosmetic section, so you can get these really affordably. Another product I picked up, mainly because one particular YouTuber loves the brand so much, that would be this. This is my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in Prismatic Amethyst. I admittedly bought this because Liv loves her makeup, loves Becca highlighters so much. I didn't have any Becca highlighters because I thought Becca highlighters were really expensive. One of these costs about $38 and an Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit costs about $40, but you get 4 different shades. It was easier to justify buying that as opposed to one of these. But she always would talk about how much she loves her Becca highlighters, and I thought, well, if she likes them so much, and I'm generally a fan of all the highlights that she's wearing in her videos, and I can see that she's wearing them, she lists them, she talks about them all the time, she doesn't declutter them when she goes through a declutter video, well, why don't I get one and see what I think about it? So I picked up this one because it's a purple highlighter, and I love purple highlighters. And man, I really love this highlighter. It's really beautiful. And because of that, I ended up picking up all of the Light Chaser highlighters, and because those Becca Light Chaser highlighters went on sale recently, I now have the entire collection. Yeah, I know, I just did a highlighter declutter, and I bought, like, I think I've purchased 4 highlighters since then. You know, the first step is admitting that you have a problem. But I totally bought the first one because, you know, she talked me into it. I trusted her and I believed that the way she felt about it. And that's why I actually also picked up this tiny champagne pop, because this is like the Becca highlighter that everybody has, but I haven't used it yet because I just picked it up. So I'm looking forward to trying that out soon. Also, the mini size is much more affordable. Ugh, it is so very pretty. It's so pretty. I bought rose quartz too. It's so pretty. Speaking of highlighters and Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kits, I also picked up those because I saw them on YouTube. I had never seen this one in person until this showed up finally in Sephora this year, but I had seen so many people talk about this kit, especially when the Kat Von D Alchemist palette came out. Everyone was talking about how that's just a duplicate for this. This is the Moonchild Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Basically, you're getting a blue shade, sort of a bluey gray shade, a purple, a deeper blue, green, and then a pink. These are just beautiful iridescent shimmer shades. They do have colors that are very similar to them in the Kat Von D Alchemist palette, but I prefer that palette to use as a topper on my lips or to put on my eyes. I don't necessarily actually use it that much as a highlighter. I tend to tap it onto places, whereas this I'll use as an actual highlighter with a brush. It's easier for that sort of thing. I frankly love both of them, so it was fine for me to get this as well, but I had been seeing this online forever, and the only thing that stopped me from getting it was because you could only get it through the Anastasia Beverly Hills website. Now it's at Macy's, now you can get it at Sephora, I think you can get it at Ulta too. But before that, you could only get it on their own website, and frankly, I had heard a lot of horror stories about shipping problems and stuff arriving broken or not at all, and I was a little leery of ordering from them directly. So I just coveted it from afar, and And then the instant it showed up in Sephora, I totally bought it. So I really do like it a lot, and I'm glad it's here. But I'm also glad that I can just go into my Sephora, swatch it a couple times, and go, yes, yes, give it to me. And the last highlighters that I picked up because YouTube talked me into it would be these guys. And these are the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek highlighters. This is Wisp up here, and this is Over the Moon, which is this awesome purple color. I had seen people talk about Colourpop stuff online for years. I was intrigued by it, but I didn't know whether I wanted to order anything from that website directly. I prefer to go in and look at things in person first, and it was difficult for me to sort of justify to myself, should I just take the plunge and get it, or should I just hold off? I don't really know. So I'd never picked them up until now, but once they became available at Sephora, I went in the first day and I grabbed these up. I do really appreciate that these are very inexpensive, which is great, especially if you really love to hoard your makeup like I do. I can get several of these for the cost of like one very expensive highlighter, and I can try them out. The formula is a little interesting. I find that I have to be really careful applying it. I haven't figured out the right brush for it, so I generally just use my fingers. I do think that the formula of these, it's super weird. They feel super weird, but I do think that they look very nice on the skin, so I have been enjoying them, and I would definitely get more Colourpop stuff, so I'm hoping that Sephora will expand that a little bit, or at least make it available online so that I have an easier return policy than trying to deal with the Colourpop website directly. Now we're going to move on to eyeshadow. This first one shouldn't be a big surprise because I know I have talked about it before. I'm a little obsessed with it right now, and that would be this. This is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. I just think the colors in this are fantastic. I had seen the rose gold palette and I thought it looked interesting, but I didn't feel like I could commit to that one, and that one did not have the best reviews in terms of the formula. So when this palette came out, and I'd already seen the colors on Instagram and I was like, ooh, that looks really pretty. But I had known that the rose gold did not get very good reviews, and I really wasn't sure what I should do about it. So I went and started watching all the videos for this, I think sort of to talk myself out of buying it, because I didn't really want to get it. I didn't really want it. So I figured if I just watched the reviews and had them talk about how terrible the formula is, then I would feel fine and I would not have to spend the money on this palette. And then everybody started to review it, and generally everyone was pretty positive about it, and the issues that they had were not issues that bothered me. It doesn't bother me that there's glittery stuff, and it doesn't bother me that you need to use a special primer for the one shade. Like, that's fine. I like all of the shimmers and the duochromes. I don't mind if I have to put it on with my finger, that sort of thing. That doesn't bug me. I'm used to doing that. So all of the issues with the palette were nothing that I couldn't live with. And then I saw it in stores and was like, oh, no, I'm gonna get it. So I managed to hold out until the VIB sale so I could get the best discount for it, but I totally picked it up because all the reviews on YouTube were glowing enough to the point that I could not justify skipping it. All right, next up is this little guy. So this is actually part of a 500-point perk that came out from Too Faced. I had heard all sorts of things about the Too Faced shadows, that, you know, some of the palettes are really good, some of the palettes like the holiday stuff or collaborations not necessarily very good, and I was really curious to try it, but the main palettes are kind of expensive. So when I had the opportunity to pick up the perk to try out the formula, I grabbed this little guy. So what this has in it is it has a Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and then it has 3 of the eyeshadow shades that come from the original Chocolate Bar palette. And frankly, I really love this. I take this traveling with me all of the time. I think all of the colors in here are very flattering on my skin. I think the shadows hold up very well, especially considering what I put them through if I wear them on stage. And I'm a big fan of this little palette. The only reason I haven't bought a full size yet is because I'm trying to use this guy up before I do. Also, the fact that this smells like chocolate, for me, that's a positive, because I think it smells really good. There are certain other palette lines from that company that I won't ever be picking up. For example, the peanut butter and honey and the peanut butter and jelly. I can't stand the smell of peanut butter because I can't eat it. So I also find that it smells really disgusting. So because of that, I can never try those eyeshadows, no matter how pretty they might be. This smells delicious, and like Tarte eyeshadows smell like vanilla sometimes. That's pretty awesome. So the next product is this. This is the Kat Von D tattoo liner in the color Trooper. I was already a Kat Von D fan, but I wasn't sure if I needed this liner because I have a ton of eyeliners, or at least I did. I still do. I basically only ever had Urban Decay eyeliners until I picked up this pen. And that was because I assumed that that was the only way to do your eyeliner, and that was the only way that I had figured out how to do it, and that's fine, because I had determined that liquid liners were not my friend, and perhaps I would just never do liquid liner. Once I bought this, though, this made it so much easier for me to do liquid liner and not have it look absolutely wacky all across my face. Again, I don't have the sturdiest hand with this, but this stuff makes it so that I can do my eyeliner very quickly, and it looks really good, it lasts all day, and I think it's great. So it was because people talked me into actually trying a liquid liner again that I went with this one, because this one was sort of universally beloved. So I picked it up, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you guys. Next we have this. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I have the color Taupe. I fully admit that I picked this little guy up because I knew that I needed to learn how to do my brows and I didn't know what to get, so I went on YouTube to figure that out, and this was the suggested choice. I do like it. I think it's pretty good at sort of corralling the unruliness of my brows. I don't think the color is necessarily super dark. This is a very subtle pencil. I think if you're going for intense, you'd want to go with something like the Dip Brow, but if you're going, you know, nice, subtle, natural looking, I think this Brow Wiz is really good. So this next product I picked up in a sample size because I had heard people talk about it. So this is from YSL. This is the Glossy Stain lip product. This is in the color 12. This is what it looks like. It's this beautiful like pinky coral shade. My only issue with these is that it does go on a little bit patchy. It's not very opaque, but it does smell really nice. It has a really nice quality to it, and my lips feel just really nice and soft the whole day when I'm wearing it. So even though the color payoff is not super exciting, it's a very subtle color, and it does smell delicious. The only reason I haven't picked up a full size yet, I'm still using this guy up, but they are a little bit expensive, but I'm really glad I picked it up because I do think that for those days when I really would just want a light coverage and my lips are feeling a little chapped, this is really nice to have. And I also picked up this little guy. This is a Tom Ford lipstick. This is in the color Indian Rose. While the color itself I didn't have a lot of choice in, this is a little pale for my normal life. I like a very bold lip. I had heard nothing but glowing reviews for these Tom Ford lipsticks, and I could not justify buying a full size because that would be one of the more expensive single color items that I own. I have very expensive single-use highlighters, but this is still more expensive than that. Everyone's always like, oh, Tom Ford lipsticks, they're so wonderful, they're so wonderful, they're so expensive, but they're so wonderful. And I thought, well, I want to see why they're so great, especially because they are so expensive. So I do like it. Would I buy a full size? I would splurge for a really fun color in a full size. I would not get a neutral though, that's no fun. I have plenty of neutrals. Here we have this. This is the Laura Mercier Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. And I'll be perfectly honest, I've never even used it. So I haven't pulled the little tab out yet to get this into the rotation. But I had to get a sample of it because everybody uses this, everybody raves about this powder. And someday when I run out of my regular Kat Von D, I will probably open a sample size of something else. But I also have some sample sizes of Kat Von D that I'm hoarding as well. So I'm never going to run out of powder, but I only picked this up even though I didn't need any more powder because people talked about it all the time on YouTube. Figured, well, fine, I'll get one too. So I'll find out if it's good too. I'm easily led. So I have these guys. This is the Wet n Wild brush set. This is the holiday set that just came out for 2017. And I admittedly picked this up because everybody talks about how Wet n Wild brushes are super nice, they're cruelty free, and you know, these are really pretty. They're sort of like a pinky purple to them, and they feel very soft. I may have talked about this before, but I have no idea what's a good brush and what's a bad brush, so I have to take brush recommendations from other people because I don't know. And these all got pretty good reviews, and that they were very inexpensive, especially for how good they're supposed to be. So as you can see, I haven't really used them because they're all still gleamingly white, but I'm hoping to, in another day or two, to film a video where I use all of these and actually give these a full test run. I haven't been too worried about it because I don't feel bad about buying these. I think the full set normally costs, I think, $30 or something for all of these brushes, and then they went on sale at the Walgreens, and you know, if you had a coupon you can get more money off, so I'm quite pleased to have these. Similarly, I picked up this guy. It's really dirty because I just put my makeup on with it today. This is my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I bought a 2-pack of this at Ulta over Black Friday because frankly my beauty blender had been eaten by my cat or damaged to the point that I couldn't use it anymore, and I needed to get another sponge, and 2 of these was like $10, so I figured, why not, let's give it a go. So far I really do like it. So I appreciated that people on YouTube were like, look, it's not exactly the same as a beauty blender, but it's going to do pretty much the same thing. It's going to feel nice, it's soft, it's durable, it'll hold up. The one thing it does that is a little annoying is it definitely absorbs a lot more product than my Beauty Blender does, but for the price, this can't be beat. It's a perfectly good sponge, and you know, it's squishy, feels nice on my skin. It does apply my makeup pretty much just as well. It just absorbs a little bit more of it than I would like, but it's a very good sponge, so thanks YouTube. And last but not least, this is gonna sound kind of silly. When putting on a highlighter, people would talk about the different kind of brushes you're supposed to use. So, you know, you should have an angled brush, which is the highlighter brush I generally use. This is from Sephora. So this is like an angled brush. This is a multitasker blush brush actually, but I find like it's good for aiming there. So there's that kind of brush. There's the kind that has a little divot in it that's supposed to hug your cheeks. And then people would have a fan brush. And fan brushes are really expensive. And I didn't want to pay full price for a fan brush, but everybody had a fan brush on YouTube, and that's how they applied their highlighter. And I loved highlighter, and I wanted to be able to apply my highlighter the cool way. So here's what I did instead. I went to the craft store, and I bought this. This is a paintbrush. This is a Royal & Langnickel paintbrush. It's a fan brush. It feels very similar to the makeup fan brush. It might actually be, you know, feel nicer. But this cost me $3 at the art supply store as opposed to the $30 that I was finding for the fan brush online. And you know what? It works pretty well, I must say. But I did feel very silly about, you know, like, no, I don't want to pay $30 for one brush. That's stupid. I'm going to game the system. I would have never tried to buy a fan brush at all to put on my highlighter if not for YouTube. So I blame YouTube for the silly idea that I had. But you know what? Hey, if you don't have the right kind of brush and you want to try it out, you know, maybe it'll work for you. It works okay for me. It's not my favorite way to put on highlighter, but, and I do have a real fan brush now. I do have an actual makeup related fan brush, and that's fine. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe, and I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous day. Bye!